the outside of the Adria Matrix 670 Plus. As we move along, we will firstly come to the vents for the fridge freezer. We do not need to do anything with these, but just make sure that nothing is obstructing them and try to avoid spraying too much water at them when washing. Water into the motorhome at this point here. As you can see, the cap can be locked. Just literally pop your hose pipe in to fill it up. This can also be filled up via a submersible pump. You can see here that we have the 12-volt plug-in point for it. The submersible looks like this, so we just plug this end into this part just behind the dust cap, this bit into your water butt, and then there's a hose part that then drops into here to then fill it up. We then have access to the storage, so you'll see that we have the awning winding handle there and ladder just there for the bed, which can also double up to be used on the back just here. To wind the awning out, we need to pop the awning winding handle just into this section just here and then begin to wind it out. You'll now see that I've wound the awning out a short distance. To drop the legs, we just need to come to this section just here, and you'll see the bottom of the leg just sits in here. So if we now just pull here, it will then drop down like so. If we then undo the lever just here, drop the leg to the ground and then get the awning at the height that you require, and then lock in place, and then do exactly the same with the other leg. You'll see that we also have an additional support that can come across just here. The awning isn't actually wound out further enough yet, but I always suggest winding it out a short way first and then walking the legs out for support. You'll see that these supports lock into these little grooves just here. We then have the location of the cassette toilet just here, so if I just fold this out, we can drop this part here just to give this ledge more support. To remove the cassette, just lift up, pull towards you. Before use, remove the cap and add your toilet chemical with a small amount of water. This is also where it empties from. Just remember that when you are pouring it away, to hold this button in just here to release the vacuum inside. It's also advisable to keep this seal lubricated. Thetford do their own seal lubricant, but any silicone based lubricant is fine. This is also a nice quick and easy way of giving the cassette a good clean. If you do need to gain full access inside, this whole section can be removed. You can see at the moment it's in the locked position. If you twist this section and get the arrow here, it can then pop out. All of these cassettes are now on wheels with extendable handles. Again, on this side we have access to the storage. You'll see this little device here which allows you to divert the warm air from your heating system around your waste tank to avoid frost damage. The waste drain is just here, and the handle to drop it is just there. Gas locker. So you can see in here there is room for 2 bottles. This motorhome runs a crash regulator. So you can see the regulator just here. The hose comes off the regulator, screws into the propane bottle and is tightened with a gas spanner. Bottle on and off on the top. Once I've finished this demonstration, I will remove this hose and put on the correct hose. So crash hoses look very similar to this, but they just have a little black button just here. So once it's all connected up and you turn the gas on, you then need to hold this black button down for about 3-4 seconds. It shows you on this little sticker at the back here. This will then allow the gas into the van. If there was any problem in any shape or form with the hose and it got damaged, this part here where the black button is a valve, it will recognise the sudden drop in gas pressure and cut the gas off from the bottle. The actual crash regulator itself also works very similar. So if anything happens inside the van, the valve just here will recognise the sudden drop in gas pressure and cut the gas off as well. These can also sometimes be triggered if you go over a bump very violently. If that happens, hold this button in just here and it will then allow the gas back into the van. Flue for the Truma combi boiler just there. You don't need to do anything with this, but just make sure that nothing is obstructing it. Mains hookup just there. And the spare wheel just sits in the cage just here. Diesel fill just here. Cap unlocks on the ignition key. Tyre pressures on the door pillar just here. Jack and wheel brace all in its own box underneath the passenger seat. Vehicle battery underneath the floor of the cab. And bonnet release just here.